Well, a very good morning to every one of you. Good morning. I am delighted to be back here this year. Fresh after my appointment last year, I attended the second SME conference. And this is a sector that has been so dear to my heart, so much so, Muteti, that last year the Kenya Private Sector Alliance actually came to my office to crown me as the SME champion for this good country. Because it is a thing I love and for which I am passionate. The micro, small, and medium enterprise sector is so important. So important that the figures given by both the CEO and Muteti and I forget the name, Patrick, point to how pivotal this sector is. When you speak about a sector that accounts for 34 to 40% of our GDP as a country, depending on which researchers and figures we're looking at, then that is an important sector. When you talk about a sector that absorbs 86% of people seeking jobs every new year, then that's an important sector. When you speak about a sector, ladies and gentlemen, that employs between 93 to 98% of our total workforce as a nation, then that's an important sector. When you speak about a sector that employs 90%, that creates 90% of private sector employment in the country, then that's an important sector. I am delighted, Nation Media Group, and I'm so proud to be associated with the Nation Media Group for the reason that they have taken up the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector's burden as one of their primary burdens. And it is not every day that we afford to give hours on end to the micro, small, and medium enterprises to showcase what they're doing, to speak to the nation, to encourage the country, so that we can have Richard pontificating about what he thinks ought to be done and getting responses about what we are doing. I am glad that the Chamber of Commerce has been walking this journey with us closely as well. And this morning, whereas I have a whole speech done by my team, I would love to speak from the heart because it's what I love to do most when we speak about a sector that needs our hearts more than our minds sometimes. I think as policymakers in this country, and the challenge has been given to us by Muteti, for the first time, the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, for the first time since this country got its independence, we have done a sessional paper that has been made into a policy called the Micro and Small Enterprise Policy, which we launched in the middle towards the tail end of last year. Why? Because we saw that there isn't a holistic policy that meets the requirement of our MSMEs or that is tailored to handle the issues around our MSMEs, from, accessible and affordable financing to providing the worksheds, as you're saying, to ensuring that we can have access to markets, as we are talking about. And this was to just deliver on the president's desire of a country whose informal sector, whose manufacturing sector is taken seriously. The Big Four agenda envisages that the manufacturing sector in this country will contribute about 15% to our GDP at the end of the president's term. Granted, COVID has had a bash on our economy, and that may not be reached, but we are scrapping right at its top to try and see if we could deliver 12% contribution of the manufacturing sector into our GDP. And when you talk about the manufacturing sector, I return you to the original figures we have spoken about. Then you understand there is no manufacturing sector without the informal sector, and that they account quite significantly to our manufacturing sector. Yes, today we talk about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It is a fact. We could speak all we want, but I tell you and promise you, if we are not competitive, and for which I am proud that NMG has decided to focus on competitiveness, An issue that we deliberated on quite extensively at the Juakali Nguvu Kazi Expo in Mwanza for the region, where I led the Kenyan team and delegation to showcase how brilliant and beautiful our products are. And of course, in the region, we were the best and the biggest. But until and unless, you can clap for our country, but until and unless we are competitive, then we will just be hearing about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, reading it on papers, and wondering why we are not grasping it within our breath. Yet, when we talk competitiveness, just as each one of you has a task unto yourselves, so does the government, the mother of all places and people. We have a task. We have a task to walk with you the journey towards competitiveness. But what have we done to ensure that we prepare our micro and small and medium enterprises on this journey towards a competitive micro, small and medium enterprise sector? One, through organizations such as the Micro and Small Enterprise Authority. We are attempting to give what the plea that Richard told us here, dignified work sites. Many of you may not know. I shall tell you today that in almost each and every constituency across this country, we have a constituency industrial development center. I know when you hear about constituency, then for a moment you think that it connotes something associated with the CDF. No, they are run by the Micro Small Enterprise Sector Authority, trying to give dignified work sites, realizing we have talent from the village to the city, and that they too deserve a very dignified place, if not to bake, as I saw in Karachuonyo, then to do their wonderful woodwork, as I saw in Peketoni in Lamu. The doors that are done in Lamu, which are known as Lamu doors, costing upwards of 1 million shillings here in Nairobi, are done in Lamu and travel all the way. They are doors that could stay for over 500 years. They are done by people who may not have had the prestige of university education or formal education, but have gone through the school of skilling themselves in such amount of talent that their product is wowed. They are exported. We are trying to ensure that we have dignified work sites, courtesy of the Kenya Industrial Estates that has been in this game for years. And I'm glad to see my colleague and the CEO, Bwana Narikai, Dr. Narikai, seated here. He has done so well that he was among the top 5 ranking state agencies in the country, making the ministry very proud. When we talk about accessible and affordable capital and funding, then the KIE, just as has been mentioned, has taken a lead, realizing that the people in the informal sector may not entirely be able to get a logbook here and a title deed there. What did they do? They clustered people into chamas. You come as a chama, you're 5, 10, 50, 20 of you. Then we know that you have an accountability framework within yourselves. And the KIE then said, if you come together as a cluster, which we can verify, registered, which has done something meaningful, we are able to lend you money without seeking collateral because we are certain that money will come back. When we talk about ensuring that our MSMEs are competitive, then as the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, under the steady leadership of the Cabinet Secretary, who I deputize, Madam Betty Maina, we have ensured that the Kenya Bureau of Standards is there to give standards to our MSME sector at a hugely discounted rate. What would cost you scores of thousands before, today, for 11,000 shillings, you can get 3 standards to your name as a company so that you work on 3 products. Because we are also trying to encourage you not to just work on one thing, diversify. See, if you do juices as an MSME, can you do water? If you do water, could you do some cake? If you do cake, could you do a bit of confectionaries in sweets? If you don't do that, if you're doing hammers, Can you diversify and do a bed here so that we give you a standard for that? And we know that it will not happen without the pivotal assistance of our numerical machining complex, the only engineering state agency in Kenya. When we went to Laikipia, where a Juakali artisan created a vehicle, BJ 150, the pride of Kenya. As people were laughing at it, I shuddered to imagine how many could even sit down to create a pen, let alone a car. But because we know that for it to be able to sell across, for us to have a product that's competitive, it has to have some standards. We must be able to ensure that you can replicate 100 of them with the same specs. We have now taken them to the numerical machining complex to walk with them the journey of creating beautiful panels, of ensuring that they can weigh it, that this is the wheel size that goes into it, these are the engine parts that are needed for this particular vehicle, because we believe in Kenya. The Buy Kenya, Build Kenya strategy has been in place to try and transform our sector, to let us appreciate what we do. And yes, I am not kidding. Ordinarily, because I have long arms, I cannot buy suits outside. They have to be tailor-made. So my suits are done in Kibera by a gentleman called Majwa. I'm giving him an accolade today on TV so that he knows his work is recognized. And I'm wearing his work because I needed a fitting suit. So if I go out and get one, either the shoulders will be bigger so that the arms fit, or if they fit, then the arms will be like this, pending in the middle. Because I appreciate the great work that we do here. Some of you have seen what is known as my signature outfit when I dress down, called the senator suit, done by a wonderful lady called Kate Mayeye. Because our country is too talented. The talent we have is extreme. When we talk about supporting us to be competitive, then the Kenya Industrial Research Development Institute, KIRDI, has its campuses across the country to handhold micro and small and medium enterprises towards refining their products. You come and tell them, listen, I have a perfume I want to create, like I saw Tony Airo doing here when I came last time. I have a perfume. They will tell you, okay, this product is toxic in your perfume. This product is great. This one needs these levels for it to be able to be consumed by everybody. And when they are done hand-holding you, they will walk you to KEBS and tell KEBS, listen, we have looked at this product, we have walked a journey for 1 year with this particular SME, and we are sure that this product is now ready for market. Help us get it a standardization mark of quality. And from there, then they will go and speak to Narikai, Daktari, and say, Daktari, this person may need some resources. Preliminarily, this is what they have. And you know, the KIE gives up to 20 million shillings funding, loan, 10% reducing balance every year. It doesn't get better than that. Yes, it could get much better, but it's a great starting point, considering that if you walked to a bank to get a loan, you know, Muteti said the Shylocks understand them. I know. But the Shylocks also are the ones killing SMEs. Yes, they understand the urgency, the need for resources immediately. When they are done giving you, they are the ones who come and now take away the entire roof of your house, as we have seen in the villages with mamas who are trying to do business at micro level. And we want to ask them as well, because they have been a very important contributor as microfinance sector. Kindly tailor-make your products for our micro and small and medium enterprises and business people, or at the very least, the nano. We are trying to see and hope that we will establish entirely, as is prescribed in law, the Micro and Small Enterprise Fund, which will now help our SMEs and our small business people. They will know where to run to without losing their dignity after getting the financing. And this journey of competitiveness is a journey for which and to which we are committed and determined. And I am glad for all the businesses, the SMEs, who have come to showcase in this expo and exhibition this year. I have met Kenyans who do a marvelous work like Anthony Mudungu in Kirinyaga, who is now doing cables for our chargers for the phones. I am probably the only minister who has hosted a whole team of my mechanics. When I was appointed, I said, Kujeni muone ofisi yenu. This is your office. You are the ones I represent. Come, let's have a chat. Let's take tea, because this is your office. And not for political reasons. No, I'm not running for any political office. But just to let us know that we are opening our offices to be able to have conversations with the ground. I know, Dr. Akoteng is here, they'll tell you, the Anti-Counterfeit Authority is working very hard because they understand that if you go to our Kenya Industrial Property Institute, KIPI, and you trademark something beautiful that you have done, and again, I need to encourage all the SME, Juakali sector, because they come up with genius things. Then before you know it, someone else has patented it and trademarked it, and it doesn't belong to you. Kiondo, for example, is a Japanese patent, our product, that our mothers in Limuru, in Nyeri, in Muranga have carried over the years, created, is no longer our patent. Go to KIPI, get help, and you will be assisted there to patent your products. Then the Anti-Counterfeit Authority will be at hand to ensure that no one mistreats or misleads or misuses your patent. But we will also need to be skilled. And yes, the president last year, in celebrating Madaraka Day, gave an instruction that henceforth we want to recognize our skilled laborers for the refinedness of their skill, which sometimes surpasses the school that people go to. I could bear testament, I tell you, without equivocation, prevarication, or circumlocution. I can tell you that I have seen people who are schooled but not skilled. They will show up and tell you, I went to the London School of Economics, I went to the University of Nairobi, I went to Strathmore. You tick the boxes and say, yeah. Then you give them a computer and say, solve for me this problem. And they will look at you and say, ngumu sana. I am not trying to say that formal education is a bad thing. I am a product of proper formal education, proper, with several degrees. But I also understand that it is not everything. And so we will not berate or disregard the person who, sometimes out of a choice that wasn't their own, could not afford to go to school. And so they went to be mechanics. I had an issue in my car the other day that I took to one of these big companies. Sasa ilikataa kufanya kazi kabisa. Then I called my electrical motor vehicle engineer called Okech in Langata. I said, Okech, I am sending the car to you. Hii kitu imeshinda hii watu wengine. So my driver went, and when he came back, after 3 months of not even having an AC in my car, Okech the magician had given me back AC. I am proud of the MSME sector. The ministry is committed to support this sector greatly. The President of the Republic of Kenya is committed to leave behind a country whose SME sector is aligned for growth so that they can be real contributors to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the largest free trade area in the world, 1.2 billion people market, the largest free trade area in the world. This journey starts with these little steps taken by Nation Media Group and many of us towards ensuring that we become competitive. At the ministry, all our sagas, all our agencies have opened their doors. In recent days after my appointment, realizing that the biggest problem was lack of information, I started running the Biashara Tuesday conversations. Every Tuesday on my Facebook page, I call the CEOs. Dr. Narikai will tell you he's appeared on the bench. And I task them to tell the country and our viewers what it is they are doing to support the MSME sector. What initiatives exist that people may not know about. Because I got in and realized so much is going on, so little is known out there. And this is why I am truly grateful to NMG, because this is a journey to ensuring that as many people know as possible. Today, you can go to our Biashara centers. There are 4 across the country. If you're in Nairobi, you can walk to our Kariobangi place, the Juakali place in Kariobangi, MSEA office. That's where our Biashara center is, where all our nearly 20 parastatals have a desk. When you walk in, because we wanted to create a one-stop center for every business person. If you walk into our Kariobangi Biashara center, you will literally ask, where is Kipi? I need to patent this. There'll be a desk officer there. Where is Kenas? I need to have my laboratory accredited. There'll be a desk officer there. Where is Keb's desk? Where is KIE? Where is Kirdi? Where is each one of them? In Kisumu, we are at our Kirdi office. In Mombasa, we are in our Keb's office. And in Eldoret, we are in our Keb's office. Those 4. We are trying to see how useful this can be to you before we replicate across the country. This commitment is the reason the CS, Betty Maina, sent me to stand in here today, to assure that we are walking this journey with you. And now, I know of many beatitudes in the Bible, there are 10. Then I added the 11th one. Blessed is the man that speaketh short, for he shall be called to speak again. God bless.
Thank you very much.